Alright, what's up you guys? Welcome to another episode of Sharkstalgia, where I talk about all things 80s and 90s in the form of modern era comebacks. And in today's episode, I want to go over a little update that we recently just got for X-Men 97 Season 2. Now, for those who don't know, X-Men 97 is surprisingly a really good continuation from the old X-Men animated series. We know that the old X-Men animated series had a cliffhanger ending, and then this show basically continues off from that, which is really awesome. Now, I did do a season 1 review back on a previous channel, but that channel no longer exists. So I figured for this particular segment, we'll start off brand new with season 2 because I'm a huge fan of X-Men and they are my all-time favorite group of heroes. Now, the really cool thing is that I don't want to spoil anything in regards to season 1 if you haven't seen it, but you know, a lot of things happen, and it's not so often that you get an animated series where the continuation does a really great job. We're in a world where sometimes they do continuations, sequels, and spin-offs and all that stuff, and it doesn't hold up to the legacy that the original animated series offered. Especially if you're talking about 90s animated series, which had a lot of great cartoons to offer. I know the 80s did as well, but the 90s also had some really great cartoons. So with that being said, I will go more in depth with X-Men 97 at some point in regards to season 1 and talk about all the things I loved and things I could kind of, I guess, slightly nitpick, but I will say the only thing I do want to share is that the animation gets a little bit of getting used to because I'm a huge fan of, you know, drawing animation, whereas this is more like slightly digitized animation, so it kind of gets a little bit of a difference compared from the original series of the 90s compared to where we are now. However, the first season had a lot of great emotions to it, and now we have some updates in regards to season 2, which I'm really excited to talk about. So according to Collider.com, who recently interviewed the people that are in charge of the X-Men 97 animated series, it does say here that I have the website pulled up. It does say here that we will get X-Men 97 in 2026 for season 2, which is really exciting because we already knew for a while now that after season 1 was out and about, they were already confirmed for season 2, or I think they made both season 1 and 2 simultaneously. Therefore, it's just going to take a longer time for them to get to this particular season to come out. It does say that, you know, the ratings were pretty high, which I do agree. Once again, it's not so often that we get an animated series where it does really well compared to the original first, you know, animated series that we had prior. Now, it does say here that when asked a question about the new upcoming X-Men 97 Season 2, they confirmed that it's going to be very dark. And there, you know, we know that there was a cliffhanger at the end of that season where we had Apocalypse show, so we're going to see a lot of Apocalypse, we're going to see a lot of Cyclops, Jean Grey storylines, we're going to see how Rogue will mourn the death of Gambit, etc., etc. And there's just so many storylines to go over. I mean, it's X-Men. I mean, it's a complicated story, but, you know, a very well told story. So we know that Apocalypse will be probably the forefront villain of that entire season, which is going to be freaking sick because Apocalypse is a very menacing villain, to be honest. So that's great, one thing to know. So it's going to be very dark, which is great because X-Men should be dark. It's not supposed to be a lighthearted show. If you've seen the original X-Men cartoon, you would know that that was also pretty deep and dark as well. Then as we scroll down, by the way, I will have the link in the description below. It does say that besides the dark nature of X-Men 97 Season 2, that not only is it very dark, but a lot of characters are going to die. We know that the death of Gambit played a pivotal role in season 1. Sorry for spoiling that, but there's going to be more characters that are going to die in season 2, which I think makes up for a very great storytelling, simply because when you have all these characters that are always alive, it doesn't really add a lot of reality to it. As much as you have like fan favorites and these amazing story arcs, when a character actually dies, that's when the story becomes so intense and pivotal that it makes the series great for what it is. Killing off characters is what makes a show very beloved rather than keeping everybody alive. So I actually appreciate this, and I can't wait to see who's going to kick the bucket in this upcoming season. So then he does say that, again, there's going to be confirming that there's going to be a lot of characters that are going to die. The death of a lot of characters. Now, the best awesome part is that it doesn't stop at season 2, because they've also greenlit for season 3, which only means that season 2 is just going to be as great. So, yeah, so now we know that, there's we know that season 2 is coming out next year, but then we're also getting a season 3. But it also says here that while there has been yet official confirmations for season 3 in terms of the release date, but the gap between seasons 2 and 3 will be smaller compared to the gap of seasons 1 and 2. We know that we've waited quite a while from season 1 to where we are now in season 2. It's about a 1.5 year gap, I suppose, maybe under 2 years. But now we're gonna hopefully get a smaller gap between 2 and 3, because if they're working that hard and simultaneously together, then it's gonna be great. Otherwise, I have no objections to XMEN 97, just because it's a very fantastic series. I mean, I love it, and again, it's not so often that we get a cartoon where you see a continuation be just as good as the original. Now, some may have some nitpicks in terms of how certain story arcs were happening within that cartoon, but for the benefit of the doubt, I think they did a really great job continuing the storyline, and I'm really excited. So with that being said, let me know in the comments below what you think of this particular scenario involving a lot of deaths coming our way for season 2, and I'll be sure to keep you guys all updated for any other information we get for XMEN 97 season 2. And someday in the future, I will go over season 1 and we'll talk about that too. So with that being said, I want to thank you guys all for watching. Be sure to give a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all in the next episode.